Hello and thanks for joining me for episode 2 of my complete absolute beginner's guide to Kenshi. So in the last episode, we went through the various start scenarios and the different races of characters that you can choose. So today we are here with just a random team from the Freedom Seekers start. And we're going to be going over some of the UI and the controls of the game. So by this stage, you've selected your start scenario, you've got your characters, you've loaded into the game, and you're like, what do I do now? So let's have a look. The first thing that I always do when I first load into a new game, and something that will come in very handy for you, is the ability to pause the game. And as you can see, my game up here is paused. There are a couple of ways to do this. If you have a look down here, we have a pause button, a play button that is going to start back up again. And you can see that time is ticking along. We're on day 1 and it is 20 past 10 in the morning of the game, so the game does have a day-night cycle, and we can click here and pause it again. We can go at double time, and we can speed it right up to triple time. The other way that we can pause it is we can just simply press the space bar, and that does the exact same thing as this. You can press the space bar again to unpause it. Now, while you are paused, you can move the camera around and you can do various interactions. You can do that without being paused as well. But it's a good way to check out your surroundings and stay safe. So with your camera options, you can take your mouse wheel and you can zoom in and out with that. You can hold in your mouse button, your middle mouse wheel, or middle mouse button, and you can drag it around to rotate your view. And on your keyboard, you can press WASD to move the camera around like so. Now, you can only get a certain distance away from your characters. Okay. If you want to get back to your characters, you can double click on one of these portraits and it's going to center you in on the selected character. Now, there is another way to pause the game, and that is by pressing the escape key. But pausing like this, you cannot interact. You can't move the camera, but instead you'll get the main menu where you can start a new game. And I do highly recommend that you do not start a new game from within a game that's already running. That has been known to cause some bugs and some issues, and your new game can take some things from the old game, maybe structures that you've built or various NPCs that are missing or other little things. It can cause some problems and transfer them into your new game. So if you're going to start a new game, best to exit out and then boot the game up again and start from there. You can also save your game from here. You can give it a name, save it. You can load your game. So you can click on there. You've also got various options and, all your different sort of general graphics options, audio. In here, you've got controls. So if any of the controls that I go over today don't suit you, or you're still having trouble figuring something out, you can go through this list down here. Will show you all of your key bindings for hotkeys. Now, I don't really use a lot of hotkeys. I use a couple, but not many. And some of mine will look a bit different to yours, especially these ones, because the default ones in there, they conflict with keys that I use for my recording software. But you can go through that and have a look through there, but I will take you through some of the controls and keys that I use myself. So pause is a big one, because Kenshi is a harsh place and you will always get attacked, and it's always good to be able to pause, take stock of your surroundings, choose what to do. While you are in this pause mode, you can you can interact with inventories and things like that. Before we get to that, let's go into selecting and controlling our characters though. So you know how to move the camera around now. So down here, when you first log in, none of your characters will be selected. You'll have to click on one, and whichever one you click on in the portrait here, that is the selected character. That is the character that is active. So we've got Leko selected here, and I can right click on the ground over here. If I'm not paused, it will run over there and run back. Select Gills. You can get her to run over there. Okay. Now, if I want to select more than one character, I've got Gills selected, and maybe I want Little. So I can hold down Shift. So let me just do that again. So I've got Gills selected. I can hold down Shift and click on Little. And now I've got both of them selected. And you'll also notice that the selected characters, so if I click on one of these guys, so now only Gills is selected. She has brackets over her name here and the white border here. And now with both of them selected, they both have the white border and they both have brackets. All right. So we're controlling both of these characters at the same time. We've got stats over here. We'll look at those in a minute. But these stats will show you the stats of the last person that is selected. Now, before we get to that, let's have a quick look down here at this button here. This is your running speed. So this is walking. So these guys are going to walk. This next one is a jog. The next one is running at full speed. But then we also have this one here. Now, both of these guys. So if you watch down here, at the moment their goal is aimless. So there's nothing down here. When I have them running, it shows up athletics. Because they're running, they're using athletic skill, which for both of these guys, and I'll go through the stats in a minute, but this is all the skills. This is all of her skills. Skills, her name is up here. Athletics determines your run speed, and you can see in the pane down here when you're hovering over it, what sort of things affect that. But if we have a look at Old Soldier over here, we can see that he has a higher skill in athletics and a few other things as well. So if we select Old Soldier and Little together, we bring them in here, and we'll just wait for this wildlife to pass through. All right. So if these guys are on their normal run speed, we send them over here. Old Soldier has a higher athletic skill, and so he's going to run a little bit faster. So let's try that again. And if we're going over a distance, he will outrun Little. Well, there's not a great deal of difference between their speed at the moment. But he will outrun little and leave little behind. You can see how little is lagging behind a little bit. Okay. So if we go over to the next one where there's like 2 people, this little icon of 2 people with these guys selected, now they are going to run together at the same speed, and they're going to run at the speed, the top speed of the slowest person. So that's going to make sure that they're not going to get separated. See how little's not lagging behind anymore. So that's how you're going to get your crew to stick together and not run off. All right, so another way that we can select more than one character or just one character, we can drag a little box around Lecco. Now we've got Lecco. Or we could drag a box around 3 of these guys. Now we've got all 3 of them selected. And we're controlling those guys. So now down here, this is a squad, and you can have more than one squad. We'll get to that a bit later. If you want to select everybody in that squad, then you can use the tilde key. Now, if you're not sure what that is this key on your keyboard. So if we hit that key, now everybody in the squad is selected. Okay. All right. So let's move on now. So the character that is selected, this is all of their information over here. So this is Lecco, and his current goal is aimless because he's just standing there doing nothing. This nameless over here, this is the name of our faction. So if we can find any NPCs walking around. So there's a couple of NPCs up here. If I click on this guy, he's a ninja guard. So now his information is here, and he is part of the trade ninjas. That's his faction. But our faction is nameless. So we can change that. There's a couple of ways that we can get into the menu here. We can click on any of these 3 here. Well, I just usually press M on the keyboard to bring up the map. That'll do the exact same thing as clicking this button here. This will show you where we are. The little blue arrow is where we are. These are bigger cities. It's only going to show you cities that your squad is aware of. So sometimes, usually you need to get within a certain range of a city for it to show up on your map. Sometimes you can find maps that your character can read, which will add them to the map. If we hover over that city, it's going to show you information. And this city is owned by the Holy Nation Outlaws, and it shows you the various factions that reside within it, such as the Vagrants, the Mercenaries Guild, the Shinobi Thieves, Trade Ninjas, Holy Nation Outlaws, Drifters, and Hounds. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so let's bring that back up again. So now we have these tabs along the top here, and we can hit the faction tab. This is going to show you all of the factions that you've come in contact with. This list will grow as you explore the world, depending on where you start. There's always going to be bandits. This number here is your relationship that can go either direction to -100 or to +100. When it's negative, you get a little red line that'll fill up. That's means that you are in the bad books with those guys. If it's yellow, then you're in the good books with them. If it's 0, then you're neutral with them. These bandits are always going to start off a little bit nasty towards you. That's just the way bandits are. And there are a few other factions that are going to be like that too. And depending on your start scenario, you may start off with some allies or some enemies. If you get one of these yellow lines up to 75, plus 75, they'll become your ally. But there's various ways to do that. But anyway, we are looking at this section here. This is our faction, which is currently nameless. So we can change that. And that is now the name of our faction. You'll see that that shows up down here. Okay. Let's just pause for a minute. So if we click on this one, then we can see that this guy is Stinks and he's part of the Tech Hunters. This one here, click here, this changes. That's a Holy Citizen, part of the Holy Nation Outlaws. Okay. Shows you what they're doing. It's patrolling town. This one is shopping. So he's on his way to the pub to buy something. All right. So now we've got this down here. This is our squad. And so if we can click on this button here where it's SQW for squad, or once again from the map screen or the faction screen, we can hit squads up here. This is our squad up here. We can change the name of that to whatever you want. I'm just going to call it Squad 1. That'll do. And now you can see down here, we are the noobs, Squad 1. All right. Now we can add another squad. And automatically that is going to be named with our faction name and a number. And it's not going to show up here yet because we haven't put any people in it. So we can go back in there and we can drag and drop. And for some reason, this has only been happening since I've been trying to do this this recording, but for some reason the writing is messing up. Let me have a look. See if changing the font size. There we go. That's fixed it. Okay. So sometimes that does mess up. We can go back in here. We can rename that. Let's call it Squad 2. Okay. Now sometimes when you move people between squads, we go into our squad tab. Let's just drag dirt into there. Let's drag old soldier back. It hasn't instantly popped out of here. Sometimes you will need to switch between the two for them to transfer. Okay, but now we have our guys separated into two squads. So hitting the tilde key will select all of just that one squad, but it won't affect this squad. But we can select those guys, move them independently as independent squads. So that's your squads. All right. So let's look at some other interactions. So, I mean, we can click on the characters here to select them as well. And if we click on one of these guys, now when a guy's moving around, it's a lot easier to pause the game to get your mouse onto him. But if I have, so let's say I've got Lecco, I've got him selected. If I then right click on this guy, I've got a few options that come up. I can attack him, but I don't want to do that. We can bodyguard him, or follow him. I can do the same with our own characters. So I've got Leko selected. I can right click on Gills here. I have the option to trade with her or pick her up. I can also do that from her portrait. I can right click on there. Got the same thing. Now, picking up is usually what you might want to do if they've got a busted leg or they're unconscious. But we can go trade and he'll run over to her, and now we've got both of their inventories up. Let's close that down. So if I've got him selected, I can check his inventory by clicking this IMV button. Or you can hit I, the letter I on your keyboard. That'll bring it up too. Now if I click over to Gills, you can see Leko's name is up here. That's his inventory. If I click on Gills, she's got the same stuff in her inventory, but her name's up here. Now let's click on Old Soldier because his inventory is different. Okay, and he doesn't have a backpack, so he only has what he can carry in here. Now I'm just going to watch out for these guys. So these are the Dust Bandits. These are guys that, let me just have a look here. These are guys that they don't like us. They don't like anybody, really. So I'm just going to make sure that these guys are not going to cause any trouble while I'm trying to do a tutorial. It looks like they might be going to be leaving us alone. Alright. Okay, so let's get back to what I was doing. So, okay. So we've got Leko. Alright, I'm going to pause it for a minute while these guys are roaming around. They're just distracting me from what I'm trying to do. So I can do this while I'm in pause. I can interact with their inventory. So if I click on Old Soldier, it's going to switch to his inventory. Now, say I want both of their inventories. What I can do, this little circle up here, I can click on that. That's going to pin his inventory open, and then I can click on Leko and I can open his. Okay, and now I can drag and drop. Okay, or I can drag and drop that into there. This is a stackable backpack that stacks certain stuff. I can also right click on that and it'll transfer it into his inventory. So they do need to be close enough to each other to do this. It will come up with a little message saying that you're out of trading range, but we can transfer this stuff along, move this stuff between them various number of ways. Now if I close his inventory and I've got this one open and I right click here, it's going to move this stuff into the backpack. And if you have a look, we have an encumbrance. So if I take that out of the backpack, well, the encumbrance doesn't change because I'm paused. If I unpause it, it'll refresh, and we've got less encumbrance while it's in the bag. All right. While I've got this open, this is our gear and our armor. So we have a weapon 1 and a weapon 2 slot. Doesn't matter what weapon slot you put it in if you've only got one weapon. I usually, if it's small enough, put a weapon into the weapon 2 slot. Now if we look at Old Soldier, his won't fit in weapon 2. So the difference between these two slots, if we just there's another way that we can transfer items too, is I can just drag that and I can drop it on his portrait as long as he's within range, and now he has both of those. And poor old Truth doesn't have any. Alright, so now Old Soldier has 2 weapons on him. This is going to be his main weapon that he's going to use indoors, and this is going to be like his sidearm. So if you have a weapon in both slots, then weapon 2 is the one that he's going to use if he's indoors. If he only has one in weapon 2, then that's the one he's going to use. I typically like to have a smaller weapon in number 2 and I use a crossbow in the weapon 1 slot is my preferred sort of setup, but that's up to you. Weapons come in all shapes and sizes. Now, you'll notice here, let me pin that again. Let's bring up Truth, bring up his inventory. You can drag these windows around. Let's give him back his weapon. All right, so you'll notice that let's close the bag. Let's also let's pin that and we'll bring up Gills. Bring hers up and we'll just close her bag for a minute too. All right, so this is a human. Leko is also a human. These guys, the Shek, they pretty much follow the same rules as humans when it comes to clothing. If we have a look at Truth, who is a hiver, we'll see that this is greyed out. He cannot wear shoes. Okay? Old Soldier, who in my case is a robot or a skeleton, they cannot wear helmets, they cannot wear shirts, which is this section, and they cannot wear shoes, so they can only wear armor on these 2 spots. Now, with Truth being a hiver, while he can wear a shirt, he needs to wear one that is specifically made for hivers. So he does have a little bit of restriction there between these characters on what they are able to wear. All right, let's close all those down. Okay, so we've gone through M for the map and to get to other sections. Research is more advanced. You need to build a research station for that. That's probably not something that we're going to get into in this episode. Same as crafting, you need crafting stations. We have got our squads. Up here you've got dialogue. This is going to show you all the dialogue that has happened within your vicinity. So, there's been a holy citizen from the Holy Nation. The Holy Nation hates skeletons. The citizens are not a threat, but she's been freaking out that we have a skeleton here. These guys are talking to somebody. Don't know who they're talking to. Maybe it's one of these guys. But that is some dialogue that has happened that we missed. And because we missed it, it shows up in here. So we also have AI up here. So a lot of this really only matters if you have a settlement. You may want to put heal allies. Now I did go through, in the previous episode, we showed you a start scenario where you start with an ally. So if you have heal allies, that means that if your character is in range and they are set to medic, and we'll set jobs in a moment, then your character will go and heal those allied characters from an allied faction. If you have help allies ticked, then you will join in a battle if your allies are fighting, and rescue allies means that you go and pick them up and try and put them in a bed. Shoot first, ask later can be dodgy if you have any sort of fear. So if we had that on, then these guys might have just attacked these bandits here that may or may not leave us alone. But because we have it turned off, then we're not going to start a fight. These guys might still start a fight. We don't know. That's the randomness of Kenshi. All right. So we know how to select and control our characters. I'm just going to pop these guys all back together in the same squad. You can move around where they are in the squad as well. You can delete a squad. So that second squad is now gone, or you can leave it there. If you leave it there and it's empty, it won't show up here until you put somebody in it. All right, so let's grab a character over here. All right, now, say one of our characters is injured. They're all fine at the moment. We could click on the medic button, and he doesn't have a repair kit because we took it and we gave it to old soldier. So let's give it back to him. Okay, so we can click medic. What are you talking about? You do have a repair kit. I just gave you one. Wait. Yeah, he doesn't have a repair kit. Okay. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. So, that is because this guy's a robot. Medical supplies don't work on robots. But none of these guys need healing. But that is kind of like just an instant sort of thing. Rescue is only any good if you have a bed. One of your characters is passed out. You can hit rescue and they'll go pick them up and try and put them in a bed. What you can do, if you hold down shift and click on that, it now adds medic, and because he's a robot, robotics to his job list. That means if any robotic people get injured or any normal people get injured, then they'll automatically try to heal them up as soon as that happens. If we do that on a human, it's putting robotics in there because we do have a robot in our squad. If this guy was not in the squad, it would only do medic. But they're not going to be able to do robotics because nobody here has a repair kit. You will never start the game with a repair kit. We go into the pub here and we can speak to this guy. So, all right, let's just back out of that. So if I hold my mouse over there, you can see there's a little speech bubble. That doesn't happen with all the NPCs. A couple of these guys we can speak to, and some of them in here we can even recruit if we had enough money to do so. But this is the bartender. If I click on him, shows you barman, and got speech bubbles. We can right click on him. We can either click here on these dialogue options, or we can press the numbers 1 or 2. I like to pause while I'm shopping. But this is all the stuff that this guy has for sale. And this is how much money he's got if we wanted to sell stuff to him. Now there are 2 varieties of repair kit. That is one of them. And you can see they are rather expensive. We've got 4,000 cats. That money is shared between all of us. So I can't afford to buy one of them. It's going to take up most of our money. There is another one. You can see that that has 500 charges. There is a different one. He doesn't have any at the moment. This stuff will change every day. But there is a cheaper one that doesn't quite have as many charges. But we can buy that, and now he will be able to do repairs. And now we've got stuff all money left. All right, so let me have a look now. We've also got a bunch of starving bandits over here, and they're all hungry. And because we have food, they might decide that they want to attack us. Let's just bring everybody in together. And I'm just going to pause while I'm explaining some stuff. Okay, so we know how to interact with people. If I right click on this guy, I've got the option to follow, bodyguard, or attack. Now I can also set these guys. So this is our toughest guy. If I right click on there, then I can choose bodyguard. And this order, they're going to do these jobs in order of preference. So he's going to do medic and robotics first, and then he's going to bodyguard gills, and if he's not doing any of those, then he's going to be staying close to gills at all times. And you just see he's moved over closer to gills there. So if anybody attacks gills, he's going to automatically attack whoever's attacking them. All right. So there are other things, other jobs that you can set people to. You've got various tasks that are typically a right click. If we go down here, see how I hover my mouse over and a little pickaxe comes up? That is because there is a copper vein here, and that is mineable. So I can have a character selected, and I've got the option to loot or use it. If I just click use, then he will run over here and start mining that. So let's do that, and see, make sure, watch out that he doesn't get attacked. We'll run down there. Okay, and he'll start using that. Now that is a manual order that I gave him. It's not a, let's just take these off of the list. And he'll mine that. We click on that, or if we go loot, it'll show us it has an inventory. As he's mining that, this bar is going up. When that bar fills up, there'll be a piece of copper in there. Or we can drag that out and drop it into his inventory. Or we could have his inventory open and right click it, and it would go into his inventory. Now if I click him away, he's going to stop. So I could right click on that, and I could hold down shift and then go use, and that's actually added it to his job. So I'll move him up here. He's got nothing else to do. He's going to run back and start using it just automatically. Now later on you can build a storage, and you can have him automatically hold to that storage, and he'll just keep on mining and fiber until this is full. If that can only hold 5 pieces in it, when that's full, he's got nowhere to store it, then he'll stop that job. Or if he's under attack, then maybe he'll fight or die or whatever. So yep, we can grab that out. So I've taken that off his job now. We can sell this stuff. So okay, let's have another look at something else that might be useful. And we'll go over all of this in a minute. If we hold down the Alt key while I'm in front of the bar here, you can see there's a sign on the bar. If I hold down the Alt key, that sign is highlighted. So holding down the Alt key is going to show you the signs of any buildings that are in the town. But you can also see, if I let go of my Alt key, and I do that again, you'll see that there's some things that pop up here. Okay, those are things on the ground that we can pick up. If I go inside the building, let's go inside. This bar's open 24 hours. And if I hold down the Alt key in here, there's a bunch of items on the ground. But see how they are red. These are not red. Because these are red, that means if I try to take those, that is considered stealing. And because I'm not very stealthy, you can gain stealth skill by practicing it, and thievery skill. But if I try to pick those up, they would be considered stealing, and the guards in here would whoop my butt. And in fact, we have a fight over here. All right. So when you get red lines here, that means you're under attack. These guys here, these, let me see. Yep. And when I hover my mouse over, this guy the mouse cursor has gone red. It's because these guys are in attack mode on us. These are the starving bandits. So we can select all and attack this target. There's a few more up here. The guards have come out to help. If we click on each one of these guys, we can see the damage that our guys are taking. So what I'll do, if this happens to you and you are in a vicinity like this right at the very start of the game and you're not prepared for it, now some cities, this city doesn't, but some cities have gate guards. This city pretty much has the bar and the guards in the bar. So we get these guys to run inside. And now the guards are out here fighting them. They could chase us inside and then the guards would take them out. And you're just seeing, well, we missed one of our guys bending over there. He was actually doing a little bit of first aid, but you can see we've taken some damage. We have been bandaged up, but this is going to slowly heal over time. He's taking a bit of damage too, and each body part has its own numbers. If your arms and legs get down below -100, then you can lose the arm or leg. If your head, stomach or chest go below a certain number, and that number will change depending on your toughness level, and these guys are only at level 1, then you will be unconscious. And you can bleed, and if there's no one to patch you up, now this guy, here's a silver or grey or whatever, metallic, because he's a robot. But what you can do, there is upstairs in here, there are some beds. If I click on that, it shows you that it belongs to the trade ninjas. We can use it, but it will cost us 50 cats. There is also some sleeping bags down here. We can go and send this guy off to sleep. And he'll sleep there until he heals up. All right, let's go back to one of our other characters now. We can see these guys have been beaten up. This guy's dying. All right, so I could go heal this guy up. We can go and do first aid. And she is only level 1. Now she's level 2. As she's doing this, she is gaining field medic. Okay. And she's also using up these bandages here. And if we click back on this guy, you can see that he is getting healed up. You can see there's a colour difference here. Okay, this is fully healthy. This is patched up, but it's still injured. There's a slight colour difference there, and it is in the negatives. And he is unconscious. He will probably also end up being in a coma when he comes out of this unconsciousness. Yep, now he's in a recovery coma, and his toughness is pretty low, so that'll have to probably come up to about 0 before he regains consciousness. We can also right-click on this guy and loot him. Yeah, we don't have any inventory space, so let's get old soldier out here to come and loot him. So we can right-click. We can arrange our stuff. We can drag and drop. Okay, now there's another one over here, so let's go loot this guy. All right, so when I hover over this stuff, it shows you there's a stealing chance of 100%. That's because these guys are all knocked out. They're pretty weak. And we have 100% chance of stealing the stuff. If it was a different faction and they were tougher and smarter and they had friends around them that were witnessing you, then there would be a different stealing chance. Also, depending on your sneak and thievery skill. Now, if I right click on this one, I don't have any room in here, but that'll actually go into my armor spot. And hovering over that, you can see that it does say rag shirt stolen from a hungry bandit. That's fine. All right, so I'm not going to be able to fit that in the inventory. You can shuffle some stuff around, or I could give some of this stuff to one of the other characters, but that's fine. We can take this stuff into the shop and we can talk to the bar guy, and depending on the shop, we hover over this. This barman, he doesn't care whether it's stolen. Some shops will care if it's stolen, especially if it's stolen from somebody of their faction. Okay, this guy doesn't care. We are going to get the sell value for it. You can see just on this section when I hover over it says value and sell value. The value is how much it would cost you to buy if you bought it from a shop. Sell value is what you're going to get for it when you sell it to them. So we can sell that. You can see this one automatically went into that slot. We can sell that. We can do that by right clicking on it. We can also drag and drop it. Actually, I might give that to Gills. That should automatically go on her feet. We can also trade from the other characters' inventories if they are in range. We can sell this copper that we mined, and this pair of pants. And now we're back up to 968 cats. All right. So that is a few interactions that you can do. Let's bring everybody back. Now, because I had truth selected and I've just told everybody to run over here, he has gotten up out of that bed and run over here. And let's have a look. And he has healed up a little bit. This will heal over time, but it will heal up faster in a bed. A little bit slower in a sleeping bag, but faster than not sleeping at all. Okay. So, what else? All right. So what I was showing you before, we're holding Alt. It's going to show you the signs of any shops that are in town, but it's also going to show you stuff on here. So the stuff inside there belong to that shop. This stuff here that's grey, that's not considered stealing. So we can go pick that stuff up just by, well, we've got Alt held down and click on it. Let's zoom in, and he has picked that up. It's now in his inventory, and we can sell that to the shop as well. We can click on these buildings here. So if I click on the pub or the bar, shows you who owns it, shows you whether it's open to the public or not, or whether it's private. The door's open, condition of the door, what sort of building it is, what town it's in. If we click on this one, okay, it's for sale. We had enough money, we could buy it, and we would be able to fix it up and start using it. It's in a 0 condition. We click on that one, same deal. This one's a bit bigger. There are some people, some hobos in there with a campfire, but we could buy that one too. It's a bit more expensive and it's a bit bigger. If we come over here, this one is private. Okay, in most towns you're going to find some private buildings, and it will be considered breaking the law to go inside them, but no one actually lives in this one. This particular one, we can go open the door there just by right clicking on that, open or close. Sometimes they're locked. This one won't be, but if it is locked, you can try and pick the lock. If we close it, we have privacy. No one's going to see us. We could sneak. All right. So in sneak mode, you'll see this little sun. Now this shows you how much light is around you. We've got this little blue eyeball over here. If it's blue, it means no one can see us. Let's open this up again while we're in sneak mode. Let's go back to the pub. So we'll speed him up so he gets there pretty quick. Now he will be travelling slower while he's sneaking until he levels up in his sneak. And you see here, now it's a half sun because it's very early in the morning. It's 5:29 in the morning. It's still pretty dark. There are some lights about, but he's in partial darkness. Nobody's seeing us right now. So let's just continue on. Now we're inside the pub. There's lights in here. So it's fully lit up. This eyeball has gone red. And if we zoom in here, we can see these red arrows pointing in various directions. So that's pointing at all the people that can see us. If it's red, then they can see us. If it's blue, they can't see us. Sometimes it'll be yellow. It means they're on the verge of seeing us. At the moment, our sneaking skill is only at level 1. You can see here while we're in stealth mode, it says stealth. Now also, while we are in stealth mode, you'll notice that our speech bubble doesn't come up here, and we've got a red fist on any of these guys. We've got a 50% showing up on there. So we right click on these guys instead. While we're in sneak mode, we have this stealth KO option down here, and that's at 0%. So we've got 0% of stealth KOing him. That will only show up when you're in sneak mode. Yeah, you can see that my attack unprovoked is cut off. The words are cut off. That's because I've enlarged the font size a little bit, and that doesn't always fit in the UI, which I guess is why a lot of people use mods to change the UI and that. But if we have a look, if we press this button here, this brings up the stats of the selected character. So we have a level of 1 stealth and a level of 1 assassination. So assassination is what you use for the stealth KO. That is going to knock somebody out if you're good enough. But we're not going to go into that in this episode. Let's go back to this building here. And we don't really need the sneak on, so we'll get there a bit faster. Let's close that up. Okay, while it's closed, there's nobody in here. Nobody can see us. We can use these beds in this one for free. That is unique. Usually a private place you would not be allowed to use it. If I hold Alt while I'm in here, there's a bunch of stuff in here that we can pick up as well. Bit of raw meat, rice weed, all this stuff, that grog there. If we have a look at that, that's the empty bottle. That's the grog there. That's worth a fair bit of cash. All right, and over here, we've got a padlock come up. So there is a chest here. If we right click on that, we can pick that lock. We've got a 14% chance of picking that lock. And we can have a look. He's currently lock picking. His effective skill is currently level 1. His actual skill over here in lock picking. And you can see down in this section as I'm hovering over that, every time he fails, he's going to get experience. So we can speed that up a little bit. And he got it open. He's up to level 3 lockpicking now. Now that it's open. Now, if it's red, right, that is a crime to loot that. But there's nobody here that's actually going to bust us. So there's some rum. Let's just arrange our stuff. We can steal that. We can steal that. We can steal all this stuff if we've got room for it. Now, these here, I'm just going to quickly zip over them real quick. These are always going to be in this chest. I will let you come and read those. They are not worth any money, but they do have a bunch of game lore, story in them that you can read if you wish. So we can now come out and sell this stuff to the bar guy. As long as he has enough money. Stolen goods, he doesn't care. Some shopkeepers will care. We can keep the meat. Our guys can eat those. The raw meat, Truth will eat. And we'll give that to her. Sell that. Sell that. Now we've got some cash. There were some more things that we could pick up. Let me see. So I think that covers basic movement, basic interactions. We'll let you know how to actually get started in the game. These guys here are knocked out. We could go and we could either heal them up. Now let's have a quick look. We go into factions. So this was -10 before. Now it's -9. The reason it's -9 is because we healed one of them up. Now, some factions are easier than others to gain reputation with, but that is one way that you can gain reputation with other factions, is to go and heal up their squad members. It's more effective if their faction members actually see, well, these guys are dead, so we can't heal them. They are dead. But we could loot them and sell their gear. It's not worth a lot of money, but it's all money. But so healing other people, especially while their own faction watches you and sees you do it, that will help you gain favour. Let's just have a quick look. I don't think there's anybody around at the moment that we can get into a fight. You can see there's a building down there. There's another pub down there that you can go and visit. Over here, there is a ninja tower. These are the Shinobi Thieves. That is a faction. You can join them, but they want money for you to be able to join them, and they will become your allies. And they have towers in various different cities. But there's some basic controls. Maybe we'll go over some fighting, combat, and equipment and stuff in another video. I'm not too sure what else you guys need help with, but that's your basic movement controls. You've got your UI over here. This is your status. So we're normal. We click on one of these guys. This guy's dead. You can see his chest is below 100, means he's dead. If your chest, your stomach, your head go below 100, you're going to be dead. If your arms or legs go below 100, you're going to lose those arms. You can get robotic arms. Let me see. Is there anything else? Okay. Well, you got block and a few other things. We can go over that in a combat episode maybe. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. So if you did find this useful, then please leave me a like or a comment down below. If you'd like to see more, please hit the subscribe button. If you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to give you an answer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.